Welcome to New Jump City, everybody, where we recap the week in American and Japanese sequential art. I am your host, Christian, the unbiased king, Espinal. And joining me through Discord, it is the man, the myth, the legend, back in his fucking tank top. It is the tank top sage, Joshua Gangsta Time Cole.
Well, it's called Partner, but it should be called Gangsta Time.
What up, Chris? What's good, everybody listening? Back in the tank top.
The tank top. What's that?
Mode activated.
What's that hero from One Punch Man? It was like Tank Top Tiger, I think his name is.
Tank top defender.
Defender?
Tank top. No.
That's you. You're Tank Top Defender.
Commander.
Also joining us is the disembodied voice of my brother, our producer. It is Edgelord Big News Brian.
What's up, nerds?
Hey. Welcome back to the show, by the way. It's been a while.
Thanks, man. I've been training
Yeah.
in my anime montage arc, you know.
Yeah, I know. You caught up to Black Clover. We won't talk about it this week, but we will next week because Black Clover is off this week. But we do have a couple of manga to sub in, in Jujutsu Kaisen and Black Clover's stead this week. Yeah, so let's not waste any time. Let's get into plugs. You could find me at the Chris Espinal on Twitter and Instagram. Joshua Cole, where can they find you?
JD Cole _37. That's on Instagram. And at New Jump City Josh. That's on Twitter.
Oh, yeah. And I know Brian's a little under the weather today. I'll do his plugs for him. You can find him at b.esp on Twitter and Instagram. And he plays video games sometimes at twitch.tv/itspunchline. Check him when he's streaming, y'all. Watch him play video.
A disclaimer real quick. His gate sometimes is low and sometimes it's high. You got to deal with it.
Yeah, it is,
You
I
know
guess.
what that means.
Yeah, whatever. Anyway, you can follow the show itself at New Jump City on Twitter and Instagram. Follow the show on Twitter, especially because we do a really good chapter of the week poll, and we did it again this week. So we'll be announcing the winner down the road of the show. And I'm very excited for that. What that is that every week we put up a poll where you guys get to vote on your favorite chapter of the week, and we announce it to you guys on the show. So very excited for that. You can email us at newjumpcitypod@gmail.com with any questions, suggestions, anything you guys want us to talk about. We actually got some questions this week that I think we plan on answering at the end of the show.
Yeah.
A couple of questions from Sketchy Mike. We are backlogged, so we're trying to get through them. We'll get to that at the end. But if you guys want to send questions, please continue to do so at newjumpcitypod@gmail.com or under the comments section, wherever you're watching the podcast, whether it's the full version of the podcast or the little highlight breakouts we make for you guys every show. Let us know what you guys think about the show, about the manga that we've been talking about, and all that stuff, you know? While you're at it, you can subscribe to the podcast, hit that like button, hit that share button, that notification bell so you never miss an upload. Do all that stuff. If you prefer audio podcasts, we're pretty much on every audio platform that exists right now. Every single episode of the podcast, all 196 at this point, episodes of New Jump City are available on iTunes, Spotify, Pandora, Google Podcasts, all that stuff. So check us out. All of that. So check us that. And I think that's it as far as plugs go. Let's get on with the show. Before we begin, we talked about a couple weeks ago when it was announced that Hunter x Hunter would be returning, that we would be covering it. Hunter x Hunter has returned. That being said, we have not caught up yet. Hunter x Hunter is a particularly dense series, and we were a little far behind as the chapters were only made available on Shonen Jump's digital vault like 2 weeks ago. So we're trying to get caught up on about 50 chapters worth of story, and there's a lot of dialogue, so it might take us a minute to get caught up, but we are aiming to add Hunter x Hunter to the lineup next week, and we're very excited about that. Our history with the show is we're basically anime only up to this point, so we're
Well, I know about the secession arc.
Yeah, Josh is a little further ahead in terms of the story than I am, but a little bit. But yeah, we're in the process of catching up and getting up to date. So just hang on, and we'll cover it next week. Very excited about it though. We are big Hunter x Hunter fans over here. Togashi stands in general. Shout out to Yu Yu Hakusho. So very excited to look at his work and to welcome it back into the zeitgeist, so to speak. And with that being said, let's get into the show proper. One Piece. This is One Piece chapter 1064, Egghead Labo Phase. This cover page is pretty important. I think it's a cover page to kind of overlap with the present, basically, to some degree.
Yeah.
I think this still happened like a little bit of a ways back, but the cover page shows Aokiji, now known as Kuzan, that's his real name, uh, delivering Charlotte Pudding onto the Blackbeard Pirates. Van Augur is there as well. We're getting the chapter started. Last we left off with One Piece. Blackbeard decided to attack Trafalgar Law in order to get his road poneglyphs and probably his powers as well. Let's be honest. So Law is up against a significant number of Blackbeard's crew. It's him. It's Blackbeard himself, Doc Q, Van Augur, Jesus Burgess, and I guess Aokiji's there now. But I don't know. I think that's like
We
not.
don't know for sure. We
Yeah.
haven't seen Aokiji.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But
he might be
he
around
might
the
be
corner.
around. So lots is going on. Blackbeard is currently riding on Doc Q's horse Stronger. He's about to deliver a big old like Whitebeard Quake Man attack. Law stops him with his re-room and his newly awakened abilities, cutting Stronger in half. But not in time before Blackbeard is able to unleash a little something on Law's people. At the same time, Doc Q drops his like trick apples that we've seen him use before on Jaya, and they're about to kind of land on the other people in Law's crew. But Shadi, I think this guy's name is, has deployed himself underwater, and he rises up and shoots these water things at the apples, causing them to explode in the air. I think it's interesting because we've only really seen fishmen do this, and I'm wondering if Shadi is a fishman to some degree, but
Sachi, right?
Sachi is his
He
name.
could be. I
Yeah,
wouldn't be surprised if he's spitting out water like that. That's not a regular human trait. But I
yeah,
guess the thing Zoro does isn't.
yeah. I mean, we
Dude.
stretch the boundaries of human ability in One Piece, so I think I could accept that he's just a guy who can shoot water bullets into the air.
Right, I'm willing to accept that. So it's not a for sure thing. He's a fisher.
Yeah. That being said, he's definitely not a devil fruit user because he can't swim. He wouldn't be able to swim otherwise.
Right.
But yeah, they block the attack. Jean Bart, I remember this guy. He's the guy that Law freed on Sabaudi. He spots Van Augur from a distance, and he takes like a couple bullets for his captain. Good shit, Jean Bart. And Law uses the same attack that he used on Big Mom Shock Weil on Blackbeard, busting up his insides. Pause. And Blackbeard is not having a good time right now.
No.
Van Augur warps over to him, but and suggests that they retreat. But Blackbeard's like, no, keep going, let's fucking go. Gotta love Blackbeard. I mean, the guy gets it in. He ain't no punk, man.
Yeah, he's not soft at all,
No.
and he's I mean, I'm getting a little bit ahead, but his crewmate mentions that you didn't like this is what happens when you don't go in with like a plan.
Yeah.
And it just goes to show like he just knew he wanted to like get after him.
Mm-hmm.
And you could call it recklessness, but I think he just has mad courage,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, definitely.
Reckless courage.
Yeah. So Law mentions to Blackbeard is like, oh, so all your people have powers now. Well, that means they all share the same weakness, the sea. And we see that the Heart Pirates are attacking Blackbeard's ships from underwater using their submarine, which is honestly pretty smart. And it's something I never really thought of in terms of Law using a submarine as a ship, being able to attack Devil Fruit users from underwater is pretty actually a good utility thing in terms of having a
Yeah.
submarine.
This is the first time in like 900 chapters that Devil Fruit users not being able to swim is actually being used.
Yeah, I mean, they've really
Right.
It's been a long ass time.
they've really gotten around that weakness a lot more than I thought they would. It's never really been a factor. But that being said, we cut into one of Blackbeard's ships as a prisoner a prison guard, I guess. Someone in the brig is basically talking to a prisoner. And of course, that prisoner turns out to be Charlotte Pudding, who we just saw has been captured by the Blackbeard pirates. And they're basically saying that, like, don't worry, there's a fight going on upstairs, but, the Commodore will handle it. And Pudding is like, well, if Mama's still alive, you won't be talking about that like that much longer. And they're like, yeah. Wait, yeah. No, it's yeah. The guy we're fighting is the one who killed Big Mom. So, fuck you.
Right.
You
You sound dumb.
sound dumb right now.
That's how much you know.
Yeah.
Your mom's fucking dead.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's like such a me. It's like, well, your mom's dead. And she's like, all right. I don't know why you got to be so mean about it. We cut back over to Law and Blackbeard clashing. Blackbeard seems to stop Law's attack with his Quake Fruit powers. But then we see that he activates his Black Vortex, which is not good because that is the technique that is used to steal away Devil Fruits or at least seal their power.
And it's what be ace.
Yeah, basically.
You're kings. I mean, you're king.
You're king.
Not you, Chris, but everyone who loves Ace so much and wishes he was still an integral character.
Yeah, that's honestly.
It's back, guys.
Yeah. Hey, honestly,
Blackbeard.
I take no responsibility for Josh's words, but it's your fault for liking him so much in Josh's presence.
Yeah.
Otis
punishing you as well.
Yeah. We cut over to the Navy headquarters where the Navy seems to have gotten wind that Blackbeard and Law are fighting. We get Aokiji's hating ass sitting there like, now, and here I am once again waiting for a fight to conclude. Nobody told me that being a fleet admiral would be so frustrating. I want to make some people.
Out of fucking carbon fiber.
Yeah.
Jesus. He's crunching on it.
Yeah.
He's always irritated.
Yeah, I don't
He
think
needs to put some weed in that fucking cigar, man. What's wrong? Yo.
he needs to
I
chill,
get it. He's the
man.
magma guy, right? He's ready to erupt.
Yeah, always. So we cut away from all the action. We cut away from all the action, and we end up on the future island of Egghead, where the Straw Hat Pirates currently are. And we see that the Pacifista has stopped attacking overall, and that's because Jewelry Bonnie has aged up Luffy and Chopper and aged down Jinbei, actually, as a disguise, so the Pacifista does not recognize them. So Luffy is now like 70. Chopper's an old ass reindeer, and Jinbei's a child at this point. And and they're just kind of like talking amongst themselves. Jinbei reveals what he knows about Kuma, and that Kuma was a wicked king of the Sorbet kingdom, and until the people drove him off and he became a pirate. He created ties with the revolutionary army as well, until the navy captured him and sentenced him to life imprisonment. But Vegapunk's fascination with his muscles and his latent abilities uh, warranted him to be released, and in exchange for taking part in the body augmentation and clone development program that Vegapunk was leading at the time. Uh, so he was able. The deal was that he participated in this program, and Kuma would be allowed to roam free as a warlord. Um, so Bonnie confirms pretty much everything. The only thing that she is a little sus is the fact that uh, Kuma agreeing to be a cyborg, because that would mean he's essentially killing himself at that point. Uh, so there was no like who would ever make that deal is basically her thing. And Jinbei mentions like, yeah, that's true, but hey, life in prison's a pretty heavy sentence. How many crimes must Kuma the tyrant have committed? And Bonnie is just like, my father was not a tyrant. And she reveals that he hated the government, and they experimented on him by force. I think that part is just her conjecture. Was like, he told Bonnie that he was from a special people. Um, and that's why they wanted to experiment on him so bad, which I think is fascinating because that can mean a lot of things.
Yeah, he was one of those red people.
I don't think that was the case. I think whoever lived on Raftel probably, or whatever society was wiped out by the Void Sentry, that was probably where he's from, or he has a lineage, a descendants from. Um, but we'll get to that when we get to that.
Okay.
Until then, we cut over to Team Sunny, the rest of the Straw Hats that were left aboard the Thousand Sunny and were left to deal with Lilith, the evil. And she's basically flying. She has the ability to fucking fly with her giant robot. And, you know, they arrive on the future island of Egghead. She reveals that Luffy is down there somewhere causing trouble, but she's taking them to the labo phase, where the main research happens on Egghead. Luffy is in the place that is known as the Fabrio phase, which is a factory level where workers and researchers live. They arrive on the labo phase, and it turns out it's made out of like clouds. The rest of the Straw Hats disembark. Zoro stays on to watch after the Thousand Sunny. And Lilith reveals that the clouds that they're stepping on is actually like the recreation of the Sky Island clouds that we've seen, of course, on Skypiea and other Sky Islands, Witheria, all that stuff. So they arrive at the lab, and before they enter, Lilith mentions that they have to get into some research clothes. Everybody gets their character design for the arc. They get Kingdom Hearts, so to speak.
Yes, very nice.
Very cool. And they're on their way to meet Shaka, I believe his name is Shaka the Good. Speaking of which, we cut over to Shaka, who seems to be talking to someone on the phone. And he mentions that like being a genius means being able to see what your own future contains. And whoever's on the phone is like, "What do you mean, Vegapunk?" And Vegapunk not Vegapunk, but Shaka suggests that his death is imminent. And whoever's on the phone tells him that, "Hey, stop telling jokes. They're not funny." And the chapter ends with the big reveal that that Shaka the Good has been talking to Monkey D. Dragon this whole time. I knew it. All of my good predictions we do in the group chat. But I'm not gonna do a victory lap yet until it's confirmed, but I'll let you guys in on what we're talking about when we get to my turn. But first, Josh, what did you think of One Piece chapter 1064?
All right. So there was stiff competition this week between two chapters in particular. However, of course, One Piece had to win it.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
yeah.
It was also mine, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Brian, what did you think?
Brian Espinal.
Yeah, I'll urge you see this.
Yeah, this is another unified, really good chapter of the week. Unified RGC.
Unified RGC. Unified RGC.
All right. Sorry, Josh. Go on with your thoughts.
Okay. So, of course, the fight with Blackbeard and Law was stupid. What can I say? I liked how Blackbeard was parrying some of Law's techniques with his quake powers. It just kind of shows how strong that the fruit's ability alone is. And I guess it also kind of makes me think about that. It makes me think that combat wise, not all fruits are created equally. They just aren't. Some are just so much more powerful than others just because.
Yeah.
I guess that's why there's some that are more rare and more coveted, etc., etc. The Quake one, very serious. I mean, he broke out of Law. He caused so much disruption that Law couldn't put a hit, like his room couldn't keep control of it.
Oh yeah. I mean,
'Cause,
theoretically,
abilities have an extent.
yeah,
I'm sorry?
theoretically, like back in Marineford, it was revealed that like if you really used the Quake fruit, you could destroy the whole world. So it is very strong.
It's interesting because it kind of also shows that either Blackbeard hasn't achieved that level yet, or he consciously understands that he's not going to end the world.
Yeah.
Candidly.
Yeah, I would
to
think he's
change
holding
someone's
back.
powers.
I would think he's
Right.
not trying to destroy the world right now.
I
So
don't think he would destroy the world losing either. But I don't know. I should really reserve that type of judgment before we see more of who he actually is, because there are a lot of question marks about Teach. But as we said earlier, he definitely got a lot of fucking heart and confidence in himself, and when it comes to achieving what he wants to achieve, and you see it pouring out in this fight through his like facial expressions and how he throws himself into the moves, and it's cool because what I really like about One Piece is how he draws his character models, and I think Blackbeard is one of my favorites. Like where it's the huge torso and kind of like small but somewhat lanky limbs. You know what I mean? I just like how it looks. 'Cause it looks really scrappy, and it makes the combat and the art look a lot more. I don't know, like intense.
yeah.
I mean, this and for those listening, if you want to go ahead and peer, or maybe you could write this down later on page 7 on the center panel. There's Blackbeard lands after getting hit with the shock willy move,
hmm
and the way he kind of recovers in the air, like he takes a seemingly fatal blow, while his man tells him like, listen, like it's not a bad idea to retreat. And he's like, nah, fuck that. Recovers it and lands like with with emphasis, man, with power, with like he's the Commodore, nigga. You feel me? That's the Commodore.
Yeah.
That's a fucking respect. You know what I mean? So, even towards the end of the fight, the way he fucking parries the sword with the quake and then like goes for the black vortex. I'm pretty sure Law's gonna figure out a way to get through this. Do this move. He's not gonna get cooked like this, and because it's been. I don't know if anyone's seen him use this move before, but I'm sure he has some type of intel on it. And Law's not stupid,
hmm
Nor has Teach dealt with someone like with an ability like his. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
So I'm just really looking forward to the interaction, and I totally think that regardless of what happens, I think Aoki's gonna come out of nowhere and and put this whole shit on Smash. He's gonna freeze the water, deaden all the shit with his crew, and he's gonna say, "All right, give up, or I'm gonna kill your whole crew." And then Teach gonna grab him up and say, "Man, you don't. I mean, giving you a chance to give up. I'm taking your power. Don't."
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna take Law's power. I believe that. I believe he's gonna beat Law here.
Yeah.
We've seen a lot of Law.
Mm-hmm.
He dealt with his skeletons in his closet. He has some character development, combat wise.
I
You
would
know,
say so.
we're not gonna hear about this fight for a long time.
Oh no, it's gonna be torture.
You know that, right?
Yeah.
You know we're not gonna see this to the end of like Punk Hazard, right?
Of Egghead.
Let that be another prediction. I'll call that out.
I mean,
You're not seeing this the Punk Hazard, and Aokiji's putting this shit on lock.
yeah, unless like they deal with it again next chapter, because I honestly thought that they were not gonna come back this chapter.
Nah, he gave us enough taste where we're like, oh, what's about to happen next, and that's it.
No.
Anyway, there was another thought in my head, which is that it actually came to my mind as we were talking about the devil fruit's weakness of like the sea actually being a thing here, like as part of the strategy, which is something that hasn't been that prevalent in the series. I have an idea, and I think it's kind of obvious, right? That like we're gonna get a huge like devil fruit info dump soon.
Oh, yeah.
I think we're gonna learn.
Oh,
We're gonna
yeah.
start learning a whole lot about the nature of devil fruits, and it has a lot to do with the past, and the void century, and I think all this, and how Teach is even able to take multiple devil fruits. Like we're gonna learn more of the nature of them. So that I believe that as well. I think that's why they're even bringing up like the weakness of the devil fruit because it's on Oda's mind. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's probably something he thought, oh, I could use this as a part of a strategy because as far as I remember, I didn't know that Law fought like in the water. I know he had a submarine, but I didn't know that was his crew's specialty per se. Did you?
No, this is the first time we've seen a lot of his crew fight. I mean, we've seen like Beppo do a little bit, but this is the first time we've seen his whole crew. This is the first time we've seen his whole crew.
Shit.
He kicked someone once. He kicked a pacifista once, and then played dead immediately. So we've seen a little bit. We've seen a tiny bit. I didn't say we saw a whole fight, but we've seen a little bit.
Damn, baby, all I need is a little bit.
Were those all your thoughts?
That was all my thoughts.
All right.
Brian, do you have rebuttals to my statements?
You
You have a rebuttal to my thoughts? You
I just
contest with
wonder-
my ideas.
I just wonder what Law losing to Blackbeard means for his character.
That he's
'Cause,
fucking lame.
I don't think he's gonna die. But if he does, that'd be kind of lame. So like, and does Blackbeard have to kill people to take their
I think so.
fruits as well? Like,
I think he does.
so.
Everybody who has up to this point, everybody who's had a devil fruit stolen from them has died. Absalon, Whitebeard, anybody we've seen.
Whitebeard was dying.
Well, he died.
Epsilon isn't even a real character. You made that up.
He was dead. He was dead when Blackbeard stole his power.
Who is that?
He's
White-
the
Absalom is
from,
the invisible guy from Thriller Bark.
Yeah, the guy who stole Nami and tried to marry her. Remember?
Yeah.
No.
Anyway, but I think this fight has to be interrupted in some way. I don't think it's gonna go all the way to its completion because Law will probably lose if this ends like naturally. And if he loses, he kind of just dies. That's just what happens if he loses here. So it has to be interrupted. Like maybe this is the time that Kuzan goes mask off and like fights against Blackbeard or something. I don't know. but I just don't see Law winning this fight like on a crew to crew fight, you know?
Yeah.
And that means death.
Yeah.
So,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah. I guess I'll get into my thoughts. Obviously I really like this chapter. I about the Blackbeard and Law stuff. Yeah, I mean, very interesting, very fun way to see how Law's crew is battling. I think it makes sense that like a lot of them don't have devil fruits because the whole point of them is to be able to fight underwater. So I think that's pretty smart, a unique way of fighting that we haven't really seen up to this point in One Piece. It's good that and it makes sense as to why his crew weren't like a massive factor in Wano, because I guess this is their usual thing, and if it's on land, Law can take care of himself for the most part.
Right.
And it makes sense, if they're at a sea battle, Law has the devil fruit. He would think to like compensate that by having a ton of people who can swim and a ton of people who would use their their terrain as their advantage. It's very Law, very Trafalgar
Yeah.
Law way of fighting, strategic and all that stuff. There's yeah, the fights are cool. This Blackbeard obviously A tier, S tier character design. To be honest, it's so simple, but it's so fucking good at the same time. The stuff on Egghead, I guess I'll speak on because we've spoken enough about Law and Blackbeard and all that stuff. You guys said pretty much all there is to say. We're still getting a little tease about Kuma's backstory and all that stuff. We know a little bit more about him. Nothing that we couldn't infer really, but I appreciate that we're getting like little layers peeled off here and there. I think it's interesting. The fact that he's from a special people, that's something we didn't know. But I wonder which he's got to be from a place, or he's got to be like descended from a place that got annihilated by the world government. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I would think it would be the civilization that was destroyed in the Void Century. So yeah, that's my thought. The stuff with the Labo phase is very interesting. The fact that Zoro staying on the ship is kind of cool. It gives the other Straw Hats a little bit of a chance to shine a little bit on the island. We haven't seen a whole ton from Usopp and Nami in Wano, so it would be, and Frankie even in Wano, even though he did have a 1v1, but I could always use more Frankie. So
Yeah.
very excited to see how the Straw Hats the other Straw Hats contribute to this arc. So that's fun. I think a lot of the arcs are very based on the what I call Straw Hat math. Is how the Straw Hats are split up in any given time and their utility when in different combinations together. I feel like there's always there's a reason that Oda specifically put these characters together to go see Shaka and left Zoro on the boat, left Chopper down below with Luffy and Jinbei. So very excited for all that stuff.
Yeah, there's a reason behind it.
Yeah, I'm doing a preemptive semi called it because in the group chat I mentioned that that I believe that Vegapunk has a connection to the revolutionaries. We've known enough that he works with the government, but he doesn't seem to be all that tied to them. Like he's not loyal to the government. He's not a government worker per se, in the same way that admirals or vice admirals and so on and so forth go. And we learn here that he's like a guy for hire. So his biggest clients probably just happen to be the world government because they keep coming to him. So I'm very excited to see that. It could be that like there are multiple of his personalities that align with the world government, whereas some of them don't and align themselves with the revolutionaries. Some of his personalities can be independent. I'm really excited to see the mystery of Vegapunk unfold further. But yeah, lots of fun this chapter. best chapter of the week. I don't have much to say. One Piece is off next week, unfortunately, because we can't have One Piece for too long. The gods have decided. So I'm just excited I can't wait for these 2 weeks to pass by so we can get more One Piece, of course. But that's all I really have to say. Do we have any rebuttals to that? Anything to add?
No, you had a really interesting perspective, though. I do want to say that, like, as far as the different personalities of Vegapunk. I mean, government got the most dough, and he doesn't need funding, I guess, to make this
Yeah.
incredible stuff happen. I
Mm.
mean, research will be done regardless if people have money or not. It's if you have access to resources, and I guess the world government controls the means of production for the most part, like the world dragons. So
Yeah.
that makes sense that he would still need to deal with them in order to give himself the financial freedom.
Yeah. Oh, one more thing I wanted to rebut on, like, what you said about learning about the devil fruits, and we've touched upon that before, but I mean, obviously, I think this is just like a more forward with the stuff with Blackbeard's people, and of course all the stuff that happened with the Nika fruit, um, the awakenings that have been happening. I think we're past due for an explanation, a deep dive explanation into this power system that has existed for about 25 years now. So very excited to get into it. But that's it for One Piece, right? Any final thoughts? All right.
Nope.
With that being said, let's move onward. My Hero Academia. This is My Hero Academia chapter 370, History. Last we left off, we were Deku seems to have had one for all for one on the ropes, and all for one seems to have done something specifically in communication with Spinner. But as this chapter continues, we don't really see that really came of anything yet, unless like this chapter takes place like a little bit after Dobby's initial defeat. So there's a whole lot of battle that we're turning the clock back on. So this is a while back. Being held, and it turned we saw of Spinner, he was actually on his way there with an army of heteromorphic quirked people to go free Kurogiri, and it's a lot of people. It's all the people that were involved in the Meta Liberation Front, I think, or the Paranormal Liberation Front, plus a bunch of ordinary citizens who sympathize with the cause. And it's a total force of 15,000 people, all mobbing this hospital. There's a
Plus
bunch
the drool god himself.
Yeah, the drool god himself, King Drool himself, Spinner. He's and there's a few heroes there, some we recognize. We see President Mike, obviously, and we see Rocklock, who we've seen before in the Overhaul arc. And they're doing their best. They're fighting. We see that Anima is there. Coda, the student who can speak to animals, he's also there. But they're getting pretty overwhelmed because like the numbers are just so fucking big. Coda gets caught up from behind. One of the heteromorphs just like pulls off his mask and his like I guess speaking apparatus. And Coda tries to reach out to them. And one of them basically calls him a traitor to his kind. The fight continues onward. We see that like I guess like the second in command to Spinner's core of fighters. is
The
basically just,
puppet master.
yeah, he's basically spouting off about, all of the oppression that heteromorphs have suffered over the years. There's been a number of incidents related to mass the mass discrimination and assault on heteromorphic people. On top of just individual assaults on people, and they make the distinction that, like, yeah, I mean, all these heroes and these people in the police would have you believe that, all these heteromorphs and people like with human faces are getting along great. But if you leave the city and you look beyond, you see that it's still as shitty as it was before. People still look at you and they say, you give me the creeps. And they're people who have just slipped through the cracks, and that don't live in these highly populated melting pots, so to speak. And they needed a symbol for them, and Spinner is that symbol for them. Uh, and he's going to lead them into the prominence of society. And then we get into Spinner's mind, and his mind's a little fuzzled because whatever quirk All for One gave him is just like fucking with his mind for the most part. But you know what? He's
Making
still,
him slow.
yeah, he's still got a job to do. He says, whatever, me just take back Kurogiri. And as he's about to like come down on these two police officers, heteromorphic police officers, we see Shoji come in and do his octo blow, intercepting Spinner right there. um, and the heteromorph villains all just jump him after that. Um, and they're just like, die, kill the wannabe hero. He's like, what's any of that got to do with attacking a hospital? He said, back in Jakku, the first thing the heroes did was to make sure that the patients were safe. But what are you guys doing? You guys are just mobbing people. And we get a little flashback panel of Shoji, seemingly with bandages around his mouth. We had a similar panel with Spinner in the very beginning, just to note it off, I think. But yeah, they're just like continuing to mob. He manages to just shake a bunch of them off, and he's like, "Do you have a plan here? Because if you don't, I won't let this stand." And we finally see Shoji's face, like in full for the first time, and he's got this like kind of unhinged jaw. There seems to be a scar there. We don't get like a full view. I feel like next chapter, obviously, we'll get a better look, but after all this time, we finally get to see Shoji's face, and that's where the chapter ends. Josh, what did you think about My Hero Academia, chapter 370? I know you had a lot to say.
Okay. This was a heavy chapter, in my opinion. Okay. So I thought about this chapter for a long time. I guess specifically how I was gonna talk about like my thoughts. So I just wanted to. I think I'm gonna start with what message I feel like is being taken away so far, right? Because obviously the arc isn't finished. This is just an early impression of how I feel, right? So this is a very like potent example of like when we say Horikoshi has an issue with with telling but not really showing, right? We hear about these incidents that happen. He says the 6-6 incident, the Great Jeddah Purge, and then just the general violence and attitude towards heteromorph quirk people, right? And man, like I think I think it makes the message a lot weaker without that support, you know? without clear examples, clear emotional ties in the story where something happened to a character that we were like, damn, this is like something valid. Now, I'm not here trying to say that in this story that like that statement isn't valid. It just doesn't feel that I'm not it just seems bullshit and really hollow as far as from the villain's perspective, Because obviously they're bad guys. Where it's not about agreeing with them. We don't want to agree with villains, right? Because they don't care about harming people, et cetera, et cetera. There are a lot of things to disagree with. But what I like in storytelling is when there's depth to the villains. There's a reason people do things, and I just feel like their reasoning here, right? Spinners, the great mass of people, the great mass of heteromorph quirk users, their plight rings hollow to me, you know. And I think perhaps that could be mended a little bit if we get a deep flashback with Shoji, right?
Yes.
That's his name.
Yeah.
Yeah. With Shoji and maybe even a little bit of a glimpse into Spinner's past as well, to see like two different perspectives and how they came to where they came. I think that'd be really nice. I just want to say, like, regardless of anything I'm saying, none of this is irredeemable. Again, this is just how I feel in the moment because this is sensitive stuff. This is, in my opinion, really important. This is a really important topic, a very relevant topic to you know to our lives now, and really for a large chunk of human civilization, honestly. So I digress. Look, regardless of it ringing hollow, I feel like I get the point here, right? Like these people were made to feel other, which is wrong, And that make like when I think of real life examples, I think back to maybe like think about Muslim people in America like around 9/11, or really around the world, because the terrorist rhetoric was, in major media stations, not just in this country, in Europe, Australia, everywhere, you know what I'm saying? This it was similar rhetoric. And a lot of people would stereotype Muslim people and say mean things to them, call them terrorists, that like pat them down, extra security points. People would be nervous around them, all because of what a small handful of people did, right? And those are the vibes I get from this story, or even like with what's another example of people like being? I don't know. That's just the closest example to me as far as like, people being made to feel othered. But I want to take this moment to just quickly explain that there is a difference between prejudice and stereotyping and like racism, right? Because I actually did a little bit of digging around this week because I wanted to see how people were feeling about this chapter. I actually went on Reddit for the first time in my entire life, just to really, because Twitter wasn't doing it for me. People weren't really talking about it, maybe because they didn't want to spoil. I guess I'm lucky, guys. I'm sorry. I can't find them even if I want to. I don't know what to
Yeah.
tell you guys. So let me be the mockingbird through the mine tunnel. I'll come back if it's safe. you know. Anyway, yeah. So I went on Reddit just to kind of see how people were feeling about the topic, and I seen the word racism being thrown around a lot. So I just wanted to, again, take this opportunity for anybody listening who may be confused about those two things, right? Because we get it, a lot of people get it construed, right? So prejudice is in everybody. It is a part of human nature. It's wrong, like wanting to, like like feeling like having that feeling of wanting to commit violence to somebody. That's natural. You know, that's part of our instincts, but it's wrong to do it just because, you know what I'm saying? You want to check that behavior. Similarly, you want to check your prejudices, of, especially if they're unfounded, you know, if they're just based on hearsay and broad and ignorant generalizations. Anyway, what racism is prejudice coupled with power. Okay? When you have a group of people, like a race of people who are in a higher position than others, right? They are in positions of power, like in government or under a capitalist system, in like most of the people that own businesses and the means to production, which therefore people need to go, you know, where we can't go out and find a gold mine. I can't go out and say that this land is mine and all this lumber is mine. We had to go work, you know, we had to go through them. Therefore, that racist prejudice has an impact on these people's lives systemically, okay? As far as how they can find work, how they're treated by police and other officials, you know, that are, you know what I mean? Like that, their prejudice is allowed to oppress others. Okay, that is when racism occurs. That's why they say in America, black people cannot be racist towards white people. That's what that means. Because a black person being prejudiced towards a white person won't do anything but maybe hurt that guy's feelings, which is bad, and you should not do that. However, it is totally different from systemic oppression. All right. So, with all of that said, I want to say that I do not see any evidence of systemic oppression. And I'm not saying it doesn't exist in this series. This is me kind of reiterating the point I made that this is a very, you know, this is really where Horikoshi's habit of, again, showing, I mean, like telling and not really showing really backfires. Because this art could be something really special, in my opinion. And again, it can still be redeemed. You know, I'm interested. I'm not willing to. That's the whole reason I even put some thoughts aside and did a little bit of research and stuff for the sake of this, because I still have hope that Horikoshi, in his writing ability, and that a nice little message can be gained from this. But I do have some pessimism. All right, and I'll wrap my thoughts. So this is the last thing I want to say. There was a moment where not Shoji, Anima was getting stomped out by a horde of the heteromorph uh agitators, or whatever you want to call them, right? And one of them say, "We ain't rioters." I want to be clear here, right? These people are attacking a fucking hospital and are on the side of a clearly lunatic villain. They are beyond rioters. They are fucking, what do you call that? Militia or guns for hire? What's the mercenaries? You guys are mercenaries. All
Yeah.
right. These aren't people who are out in the streets protesting and incredibly frustrated and taking their anger out on inanimate object. This is a completely different discussion. And if anyone wants to have a talk about that in the comments, I'd love to, and we could take it there. But I want to be clear that these are two completely different scenarios, and it's very easy for people to see something in this comic and then relate that to what they're hearing in the news, or what they hear from others. You know what I'm saying? Or what's being displayed to them. This is very serious stuff. You
Mhm.
know, we're talking about people's rights. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about philosophy.
Yeah.
Yeah, these people are clearly lunatics, guys. Yeah, he's right. They ain't rioters. They're fucking psychopaths. Like
Yeah.
at this point, you know, like come on. But right. So you know, with Soji, I want to have hope because he's saying, "What is your plan?" Because we done been through some shit already, right? That's what's already being implied. So what's up? Because this is just making us look worse again. I'm hoping that that's kind of the direction they lead in, and that's something I can at least understand for this story, you know. And Anyway, I think I've said enough. That was everything I wanted to say, guys. Any rebuttals in
Brian,
particular?
what did you think about this chapter, Brian?
Um, I thought it was nice to see Shoji get his moment, which is pretty cool. Coming
Yeah.
in being kind of a voice of reason. It was nice to have him have his moment, especially since this is a moment that strikes for him as well. Um, but I do agree there is not a lot of build up to this kind of thing, and I'm not sure why that was a thing, why that didn't come up so often, but it didn't. But at least it's getting its flowers now, kind of. I hope they build up on it more, and kind of Spinner ends up becoming more of a present in mind and more of a leader for these people, because that was his whole goal as a character, was to be a leader for the heteromost, right? um and you could tell that he's kind of absent-minded, and he's not that leader that he's supposed to be right now, because of All For One's influence. um so I hope we get to see more out of Spinner here, aside from just being, big dumb idiot, because that's never really been his character. And this is like a clear vision that this is what All For One does to you. He gives you power, but it's not to your benefit, it's to his, even though you're the one obtaining it. um so we'll see what ends up happening this next chapter. I also am approaching it with a little bit skepticism, just because this don't get me wrong, Horikoshi is pretty good when it comes to these big, deep, nuanced topics, like using uh Endeavor's story for an example. He's been pretty good with that. um so I think we should give it a shot.
Yeah.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
okay. Yeah, this was a heavy chapter, man. I had to think about it a lot. You guys said a lot of stuff that I would think that I thought of basically as well. Uh, my optimism for this series is also kind of like waning in terms of how deep Horikoshi will go with this. Mostly because we're running at the very least we're running towards the finish line with some kind of sense of urgency here. So we might not get the nuanced look at this that we had even intended. Um, so
Or deserve. Sorry.
yeah. So I don't know. We'll have to see on that. I would think that we're gonna get a little something, because the thing about the League of Villains is that Horikoshi has a lot of passion for these characters. Like, the story is as much about the core original group of the League of Villains as it is about Deku himself. Like, a lot of these characters are allegories for things that Horikoshi wants to comment on in the world. We have neglect with Shigaraki, just general neglect and just non acceptance from society. We have mental illness with Toga. Uh, we have general, I guess, racism and prejudice with Spinner, stuff like that. There's these like flaws in society that is represented with each member of the league, and I feel like Horikoshi takes special care with those guys. We see it in Endeavor's story. I think when Horikoshi is in this mode where he's dealing with characters that he's wanted to deal with, like these big moments that he's wanted to really press on, he gets it. I think he hits the landing. If we take Endeavor's, as a score one type of deal, he's got a good track record in that degree. So I have a little bit of hope that maybe we'll get like an extra chapter or two dealing with this whole thing and closing it up in a good way. Um,
Hmm.
but we'll have to see. It is really up in the air, and it is depending on how much enthusiasm Horikoshi has left. Which, seeing as how this is a core League of Villain member, I'm hoping that it is more than the average battle that we'll see in this final arc. Uh, to your point about showing not telling, I fully agree. I think with the amount of
Telling, not showing.
uh,
Oh no, you're right. You're right.
yeah,
Because that's what we want. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. I think you're absolutely right. I think the fact that there are a lot of heteromorphs in Class 1A alone, and how long has it been since we've been kind of low key lingering on the mystery behind Shoji's mask? We got a little mention of it back in the day with Nedre. Nedre, the first question that she asked Shoji is like, "What's up with the mask?" And as he is about to get into it, it teased at that moment that at least there is a definitive story behind why
Right.
Shoji wears the mask.
There's something being hidden, which means there's value to right?
Right, right.
It's build up.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate that I mean, obviously we're always on conjecture with this thing and how much Horikoshi, how much the story of the story that Horikoshi was really in control of. There's obviously rumors about editorial mandate and reader and viewer dissatisfaction with the league in Japan and all that stuff. So I don't know. My Hero Academia is a very interesting case study. But in return in regards of like audience reception, because it's at the same time one of the most popular series in Jump by a lot, but also a very controversial one amongst people. Um, and I think that's had an effect on a lot of the things that Horikoshi has wanted to execute. So we'll have to see how that pans out in this particular case. But the showing not telling is a big deal, We get all these incidents that we've heard of these incidents, but we only heard of them fairly recently. Like I definitely remember the mention of the 6-6 incident and the Great Jeddah Purge, but we haven't really got into it. So we've only heard them in name. We don't even know what happened. You know, I think like we're just supposed to get the base understanding that there have been systemic attacks on heteromorphic people that we know, kind of like Tulsa, these are these like points in history that we know of, but we don't talk about a lot. And that's what these incidents I feel are supposed to represent. Um, but it would be good to have something like that. I feel like, the little glimpses that we see into Shoji and Spinner's past here with these panels is one of these incidents each, or maybe they were both victims of one of these incidents together to some degree. And I'm sure we're going to get a lot more about that next week. I would hope so. I really like Shoji as a character, even though he hasn't done all that much in the story. Weirdly enough, when he does show up, it's always a market impression when Shoji does something. So, I'm holding out hope that we're going to get a little something out of it. And I'm excited about it. But yeah, there's definitely some missteps here. Um, you know, just because the amount of opportunity that Horikoshi has had to go into this in the series. I'm rereading the series from the beginning, and it is kind of interesting how much of the classmates that like we don't really talk about, how much like world building hasn't really been what's the word I'm looking for? Reinforced, I guess. We have these bare bones.
Supportive.
Yeah, exactly. We have these bare bones impressions of what this world was like back in the day, and we have these impressions of these events and these things that have happened, but we don't really know a whole lot about My Hero. And obviously, there's vigilantes that exists out there. Probably goes
I was
into it.
gonna bring that up.
Probably goes
actually,
into it a
but-
little more. We wouldn't. I mean, at least me and Josh wouldn't know. We haven't read it in its entirety. I have, but you can't do that. This isn't like Marvel. This isn't DC. Like like having us see it in like an elongated form, but not really like delving into it to a degree in the mainstream manga where most of your audience is not great. But you can comment below if it does exist in Vigilantes. Comment below and let us know. But as it stands, I have no idea. I'm hoping. I think Shoji's entrance was cool. Just a couple good things, I guess, about the chapter. I really like that he came in, had a cool like rada 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 moment, and that he's like, you know, not just a support hero like his quirk would have us believe. He can throw it down. Um, I like to see Coda doing stuff. This is again a little bit of the things that we've asked for. A little bit of the supporting cast stepping up and carrying their weight in the series. Coda and Shoji specifically because they're more tertiary, especially Coda. We haven't seen a whole lot of him, but to see him like come out from being this meek kind of like background cowardly type character into like standing up and fighting when the going gets tough, it's great.
Mm.
You know, um, I'm excited to see where this goes, and I don't really have much else to say. I think interesting chapter, a little bit of a missteps here and there, but that's like more of a symptom of the pacing of the overall series than the chapter itself. The message that is relayed here is, I think, is an interesting one. We always talk about not that there's like a massive difference, but discrimination in more rural parts of at least this country even.
At least this country, yeah, we can use us as an example.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the parallel being drawn here. I think like My Hero Academia is obviously kind of like ingrained in American culture. It's a superhero comic. He takes a lot of inspiration from Marvel. So I think, we can make these allegories and these comparisons to how he sees society here. And yeah, I think he's mentioning, there's obviously a higher rate and a deeper and more visceral history of discrimination, of prejudice,
Right.
of racism in more rural parts of the country. So I think that's a good point to bring up. It's not talked about as often as far as I've seen. I think it's like a nice detail, a nice little like a little color to the canvas here to add, as far as I know. I don't know.
Yeah. I have not really a rebuttal, but just some thoughts in response to yours.
Mhm.
But like, yeah, I believe that what was the last thing you were just saying? Actually,
About the message of rural areas having.
oh,
Yeah.
so all right, all right. So you could argue that even in Japan, that like,
Oh yeah.
let's say for an example, like a black person going out to Tokyo, right? It's probably gonna be pretty chill, right? It's probably cool. Yeah, yeah. I'm a nigga in Tokyo. What up? You know what I'm saying? Everything's probably cool. But you go out to like, I don't know, Nagasaki. Nah, I don't know the fucking towns. What was
Just like a
the dude from
smaller area.
Kanzai?
What?
Kanzai? What's
Kansai?
the dude
I think that's a
from
region.
Hajime no Ippo? His rival,
Oh, damn.
the Kanzai Tiger or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, something like
Hansa.
that.
It's like a home.
Sendo.
It's like a backcountry town.
Yeah. Like,
It's like a
the south
like
of
some
Japan,
backwoods.
basically. They
Right, right.
It's always
It's
like
like
translated as kind of like southern, you know.
it's like country
Mhm.
shit. You know what I'm saying? Like country bumpkin shit, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like like super rural. So yeah, like probably in those areas, they're probably really ignorant towards outsiders.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm sure that there's a lot of relevancy to even his home country.
Oh yeah,
You know.
definitely.
But I kind of wanted to just hone in on what I'm worried about, like what I hope it this doesn't boil down to, which is like with the students, right? With Anima, what's his actual name?
Coda.
Coda, with Coda and Shoji. Is I hope. Oh god, I hope like this. I will accept most other things as long as Horikoshi doesn't do this, which is like have like the kids say something along the lines of like, "Oh, we face discrimination, but we stood tall and ended up becoming heroes. So there's no excuse for you guys acting the way you guys do." And that is not an argument. It is not.
Mhm.
It's just not. If you need to spark fucking change, sometimes violence is necessary. Because best believe the people fucking oppressing you is gonna react with violence. But that's a whole nother conversation. But that would make me really upset at Horikoshi, and that would be irredeemable in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna settle down now. I one last minor criticism, but the way you were talking about them dealing with like the issues with Shoji now with the mask and just the overall animo shit now at this point in the series, it feels like last minute homework.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's even I don't know how y'all feel about this, right? But even the Todoroki situation, we've gotten a lot of chunks of it, but this whole thing at the end still feels like he's just like, all right, let me just wrap this up real quick. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Even with getting like the Mirio and the two kids, like their group attack, we were getting what should have been another arc with them,
Mm-hmm.
or them pulling up, hijacking other arcs, being cool, or in those two chapters.
Yeah.
It's like he said he's not at the end, and it's like some of it is cool. You know what I mean? We're gonna see how he handles this one.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he can't do it. But it's coming off that way, and I can't judge this nigga in that regard. Cause I'm a last minute motherfucker too.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, we've all not done our homework until the last very minute.
Yeah.
But yeah, was that the only rebuttal left?
Yeah, that's everything.
Woo-wee. Big old section for Chainsaw Man, for My Hero Academia today. Yeah, all right. Well, with that being said, interesting chapter, obviously. I would say that this is, I guess, a good chapter. It really got us talking
So
about
much contention in 15 pages.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of stuff happened, and that's honestly
What series does that?
I don't know.
Highlight New Jump City. Listen, if you're on YouTube, please leave a like. Yo, comment. Say what up. Just say what up to me. Say yo. Say just say nice things.
Yeah,
Anything.
say nice things.
You should sub if you listen. We promise.
So on your subscription feed, we don't send you emails and shit.
Yeah. No spam. But if you have a YouTube feed, some people spam the feed. I fucking hate it. But we only do it one day.
You got to do it for the almighty algorithm.
Yeah.
The only reason we don't do it is that
share with your friends. Let them know that we took that good shit.
Yes, please.
All right.
All right. Well, let's move on to our next series then.
Is Brian okay? Is he on life support right now?
I think Brian's okay. Chainsaw Man. This is Chainsaw Man chapter 107, School Attacker.
That's the name of the
Yeah, that's the name of the chapter.
School Attacker.
Yeah. Last we left off,
That is hilarious.
Yuko has revealed her true form as the Justice Devil, and is now on her way to basically destroy all of the people who have bullied Asa in the past at the school. And we open with the battle as Yuko is going up against Yoru, the war devil that resides within Asa, who has intercepted her on her way to mass slaughtering a bunch of children. So that's cool. The very first panel we see is just the battle getting underway. Yoru just like cuts off one of Yoko's legs, and Yoko just responds by being like, "Cool, but you're in the way," and just smacks the shit out of Asa, sending her into a classroom. Dude, over to the next classroom, and the teacher even peeps it, presses a panic button, and is like, "A dangerous devil has appeared on campus. Get the fuck out! Get out now!" And these kids are leaving the classroom, and Yoko just pulls up, turns the corner, is like, "This is not a drill," and just attempts to start like. She peeps the girls that like fucking bullied Asa. Is like, "It was you girls. I knew it."
Oh.
I see you. Yeah. Yoru grabs like a pencil, turns it into a spear, and chucks it over at Yoko. Pretty cool ability, to be honest. Um, and Yoko just like returns it to sender basically, but actually she returns it into one of the bullies, kills one of the bullies, dead. Not great.
Oh, thanks. Ha!
Oh, cool.
Fucking-
Shit.
Fucking Tom Brady, that shit to the chest.
Yeah, spiraled it.
Wow.
Yeah. One of the bullies is just like, stop it, and she's like, I won't stop. You're a bad guy.
I won't.
What out? What out?
She Mac. He's dead.
Yeah, and she's dead. She's gone. I should be
He's dead.
I should be doing one of these for each fucking death. That's for the two of them.
Yeah, thank you.
Anyway, so Yoko notices that the last one ran away, but she sees that one young man is standing in her path. This is a kid from the Devil Hunter Club, Seiji Akoku, and he has like these spiked knuckles. Yoko tries to attack him, but he just like blocks it, manages to punch Yoko right in the fucking gut. Yoru just like keeps shooting pencil spears at her, and more Devil Hunter kids show up, and she's actually giving they're actually giving Yoko a little bit of trouble, cutting her up a little bit.
Some trouble.
And Yoru's just like, come on now, don't die before Chainsaw Man gets here. And she's like, don't worry, I didn't want to kill the innocents is all. But you know what? You guys ganged up and bullied me. You guys are bad guys too, huh? And she just kills a bunch of them. So one guy...
All three of them, I think, die.
Yeah, rip to all three of them. One of them gets knocked out the window.
I would never be a devil hunter. I would never ever be a devil hunter.
Yeah, I don't know what these kids were thinking.
There's no amount of money that they could pay me.
I don't think these kids are even doing it for money. They're just part of this is an extracurricular activity.
Yeah, they're fucking insane.
They're fucking crazy, bro. One of them seems to survive, I think, because she gets just knocked out the window.
Did you see how she landed? She landed on her neck.
Oh, is that right?
She rebounded on her neck.
Yeah, I don't know.
Would you survive that?
Maybe. She didn't fall out of the first floor, unless this is not the first floor. JK, she's probably dead.
Did you know ginseng is good for your heart and for people that have heart problems?
Ginseng? Tea?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
No, well, you can drink it as tea, but ginseng in general, yeah.
I didn't know
it's
that.
really good for people with heart conditions.
You looking at me because I have a heart condition?
Make free information, guys.
Hint, hint.
Actually, yeah, that is why I'm saying it to you. But for anybody else that may have family or friends, ginseng, take a lot of it.
Yeah,
at least a couple times a week. We'll talk about that later.
Anyway,
hey, I want my friends to survive.
Hey, I get it. That's why I put the more you know.
Yeah.
It's a community. It's a New Jump
City.
City.
I didn't hear that, but it's all right.
Yeah, it's a New Jump City public service announcement.
Hey, we teaching people about racism. You know what I'm saying? We teaching people about anyway.
Saying.
Back to Chainsaw Man.
Yeah, back to wanton child death. Chainsaw Man. Anyway, so Yoko, after all the destruction, Yoko just turns over and is like, "Now be good, unless you want to wind up like them. I know all your plans, Yoru."
Dead.
She's like, "I know you hid personal property in every classroom to use as weapons. You set these fucking traps.
Wow.
I seen them." And she's like, "Don't try anything else. I'm gonna save Asa from her bullies." And Yoru's like, "Well, I do have one more plan. The leave it to Asa plan." And she shifts back over into Asa, and Asa's like, Yoko's like, "Fuck, Asa, no, please, just stay right there." And because the Justice Devil can read minds, she's like, "No, what are you thinking? You can't possibly you absolutely can't do that." And that's where this chapter ends. We do have a chapter that came out literally today. So
Literally today.
literally today. Usually,
That's not hyperbole.
yeah, usually Chainsaw Man is bi-weekly, but nowadays it seems to be coming out every week, which kind of throws us off because usually we do the show on Tuesdays, on Mondays. This is like an exception. So next we'll cover 108 today. Next week there'll probably not be Chainsaw Man coverage until the week after, where we'll be doing 9 on, because we usually record Mondays and Chainsaw Man comes out Tuesdays. So we'll always be a little behind, but you know, our thoughts are interesting enough, I would say. But with that being said, let's move on to Chainsaw Man chapter 108, Something Important to Asa. And Asa is just like, you killed a bunch of people. And he's like, no, well, it wasn't a lot. It was just 3 or 4 people, and they were mean to me. You know, the devil gun
Not
killed.
that many.
Yeah, the gun devil killed like 1 million people.
Devil gun. I thought you said devil gun.
I think I did up top the devil gun. I switched it out last minute, but I was like, the gun devil killed 1 million people, and I only killed the bad people. So, like I said, you don't need to know you don't need to know what you're thinking. And she's like, and then Asa gets up and is like, Yoru, tell me how to make weapons. And Yoru's like, yeah, I don't know if you can make a weapon that strong. And she's just do it. And Yoru reveals that says, touch something that belongs to you and call its name. And Yoru's like, I'm telling you, there's no point. And that's when Asa goes, she touches her uniform and goes, super strong uniform sword. And her uniform rips off of her and becomes a sword. Let's play the where were you when you read this chapter sweepstakes? Josh, where were you when you read this chapter?
I was in my apartment because I read both those chapters today. Thank God.
Bro.
Where were you, Chris?
Work.
Oh.
Bro.
That's the second worst place.
I never hit sleep on my phone faster. I never hit that button. I nearly punched it. I was like,
you couldn't tell when she was pulling her shit off? Like,
no, I was like, what are you doing? You know, I didn't think of it. I should have. But
I knew it. I knew it was coming.
I saw it.
I was like, yeah, she's about to be naked. This is Chainsaw Man. Yep.
I was like,
But why does it gotta be the high school girls, bro? Can't these just be college girls?
No.
What's wrong with you, broski? You could have made anyway. Whatever. Yeah. It is what it is. This is a different country.
Yeah.
I will never understand.
Yeah. Anyway, so Asa has a sword made out of her clothes, a fucking clothes.
Sword. No, because it makes it weird. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. Hey.
Oh, I can't enjoy it. It's just like,
hey, buddy,
come on. Like, imagine somebody asks me, "Oh, what you reading?" I'm reading Chainsaw Man.
Hey.
What's going on there? Oh, well, this girl made a sword out of her clothing.
What's going on over there?
At school. Oh, what school she's in? High school. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now I'm a sexual deviant.
Hey, buddy. Preacher choir. You don't gotta
Thanks, Tatsuki Fujimoto. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks.
Like, hey, what you reading?
Now we're all implicated.
Chainsaw Man. Why is she naked? This is a long story.
Well,
I swear it makes sense.
To understand, you'd have to know the deep lore. The deep, complex lore that's way too long to get into right now.
Just
all you need to know is that it doesn't make me a weirdo.
I swear to God, it's not doing anything for me.
I swear to God, this is not pushing the envelope.
This ain't getting it going. Yeah. This ain't my
juices ain't flowing there.
This ain't my jam.
This is part of the story.
This ain't
I enjoy the story.
This ain't my cup of tea. Just know that. So anyway,
take my word.
So anyway, Asa has her clothes sword now. She's like this for the rest of the chapter. So I couldn't read the rest of this until I got home.
Bucky naked.
So Yuko, she has her clothes sword and she's like, I'll solve my bullying problem myself. Stay out of it, Yuko. And she's like, geez, Asa, think about it. If I kill all the bullies in a notorious devil attack, all bullies will get scared and not fuck with anybody anymore. It could stop bullying altogether, not just yours, but everyone in Japan. And then I could be a symbol of justice too. I could be just like Chainsaw Man. And
Yo, she's open.
yeah, Asa's like,
She's sipping the Kool-Aid.
Asa's like, what are you talking about, bro?
What?
This yeah, she's like, what does Chainsaw Man have to do with this? Do you even hear yourself? And
And I hate that guy, by the way.
when I was given this power, I received a heart that shines with the light of justice along with it. Well, I have one more bully
He
to kill.
turned you into Mojo Jojo. That's what the fuck he turned you into.
Yeah. She's
That's
like,
what you lost. You lost. Yeah, I don't know. I guess she didn't really lose much. I mean, she could still be regular.
yeah. I mean, she lost a complete skull, like a good case for her brain. But
But aside from my cranium, nothing.
yeah,
But I don't need that.
no.
Look at my brain.
Check my brain out. How could this not be a
Yeah.
good idea? Check out my massive protruding brain.
Exposed to the elements brain.
Yeah, open to infection brain.
Her brain's got staph.
Dude.
She's gonna catch MRSA on her brain.
Yeah, it's not gonna be good when you have MRSA brain.
Right. That's what's gonna kill her. That's gonna be that. We figured it out.
Anyway, she's got Yuko's like, well, anyway, I got one more bully to kill. Asa, go put on some clothes.
Yeah, let's stop it. You look ridiculous.
Put on some clothes. Don't you know some guys are reading this in public somewhere? Stop making people feel like weirdos.
Yeah.
So Asa runs behind her trying to catch up, and she's like, she loads up her sword. She's like, I'm only gonna cut off your legs, and she tries to swing the sword, but Yuko just slaps it away, and
Right. Like, get that weak shit out of here.
get that shit out of here. And she's like, I told you it was pointless. As we see like her head kind of tilting. I didn't realize this the first time I read this over, but her head is already like kind of chopped in half here. And then
Yeah.
the next page is a two
Yeah, you see the
the next page is a 2-page spread of basically fucking Yuko got sashimi'd
yes.
pretty intensely.
You got sashimi.
She got sashimi'd. She got Jiro dreams of sushi'd. It's not good. And she basically just explodes in a big like explosion of blood and guts, and it's gross. And
Right, because all the blood erupts from the severed end.
yeah,
An explosion of nastiness.
yeah, it's all over her bare body because she used her clothes for a weapon. So
Oh, that's what we forgot to say. There was a 2-page spread of sashimi Yuko and
yeah,
underdressed teen.
yeah. Hey, good news, sashimi devil. Bad news, underdressed.
Underdressed teen. Very inappropriate.
Yeah, not great. But anyway, that worked out. Yoru's even surprised. He's like, strong? Whoa. You surprised me. He's like, the swords I made out of people I killed were always average, but, that was crazy. And it turns out, as was mentioned before, the deeper the emotional tie something is made out of, the stronger the weapon is. And it turns out the uniform that was made into the sword was bought by Asa's mother before she died. So it was hella powerful. Given that it was like so meaningful to her. And yep, she basically killed Yuko, and that just brings back trauma flashbacks to the time where she killed Bucky, the chicken devil, and she's like, "Fuck, I did it again! Don't die, Yuko, please!" And Yuko's
Yuko.
Yuko's dead, and then one of the girls pulls up in the corner. I don't know if this was the last bully or just like a new character overall. But she's like, "Do you want to save her?"
This was not the last bully.
Gotcha. Okay, so she's like, "Do you want to save her?" And Asa's like, "What?" He's like, "I can save her. Do you want to?" And Asa just says, "Yes." And fucking this girl saunters over, and we get a full page spread of this girl, and she has these crazy eyes. So you know she's a devil.
She's clearly Makima.
That's what I was thinking, but I guess we'll get into it.
That's Makima's eyes, is it not?
That's what I was thinking, but Makima is currently another girl. Like the girl that Makima is now had black hair, and she lives with Denji, and she's significantly younger.
Oh, she didn't look like. I forgot how she looked. So.
Yeah, I mean, I could be wrong, and I could be misinterpreting something.
Nah, this is another devil because Denji's in high school, and Makima's younger than him.
Right.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, she basically pulls up and she says, "Anything for my little sister." And Asa's like, "Your little sister?" And the girl just looks over with, to be honest, similar eyes to Makima back in the day. And they're, all the students are just like chilling outside. The devil hunters seem to have arrived on the scene. And right on cue, the last page is a splash page of Yuko's head turning massive. And that's where the chapter ends. Wow. A couple of really interesting chapters. Josh, what did you think of Chainsaw Man chapter 107 and 8?
I really enjoyed this chapter. This was third place for me. The second chapter in particular. I think it was a nice little wrinkle that weapons can be made out of inanimate objects, not just people, which means that Yoru won't have to kill everybody that she cares about. Although it does suck that Yuko had to suffer this fate. I don't think she's coming back.
No.
I think this is it. When she was explaining the part about her becoming the Justice Devil and what she lost, I wonder if they're going to actually expand on what was given up. I wonder if there's a purpose to that, other than giving up her humanity. Because obviously the devils want to take over their body eventually, right? Is that the point?
I would think so.
Oh, I think they're just cool with being inside of humans. Yeah.
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 I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I guess it varies. Neither. I guess it varies from devil to devil.
Yeah, right? Yeah, they all have different motivations and intentions and levels of strength. Real curveball at the end of this chapter, because I thought that was Makima until you told me that, nope, that's a different person. Maybe it is Makima controlling someone. Who knows? But I don't think it is. I think it's a little too soon for that. And like we said, it's physically speaking, that's not Makima. I think we could agree on that.
Well, I think you bring up an interesting point where it could be someone Makima, or well, she doesn't go by Makima anymore, but the control devil, someone that the control devil is controlling. But
right, but that's not her herself. That body, is not of Makima. So yeah, I wonder who that is. I really like the dialogue between Yuko and not Yoru, Asa. And the way she was trying to like justify her means, kind of had a point. I mean, obviously she's wild and killing people. You don't need to murder people that bullied you. You know what I'm saying? It was just funny how she was really trying to plead her case as a friend. It's actually borderline sweet because she's like, don't you fucking get it? I'm doing it for us, and it's gonna help everybody else. Like, this is a perfect fucking idea. That's what you lost. Your fucking mind, Yuko. When you made the agreement with this devil, You wanted to help your friend out so bad that you made a contract with a devil.
Yeah. Well,
That's
you-
why she's in this predicament now, and why she's gonna be a mindless, huge devil that Denji's gonna pull up and chainsaw into pieces.
yeah.
Brian, do you have any thoughts that you can muster up?
Not much actually. I've just been enjoying Chainsaw Man quietly to myself.
Yeah.
Maybe this is actually Makima. Like, well, not Makima, but the Control Devil at the end here.
Mhm.
She does have the eyes, so there's that.
Yeah.
Is that
Um,
Makima's eyes? Can someone look that up?
Yeah,
real
they
quick?
are. They are like that. You know, I'm somewhat familiar with it.
I can't think of anything else that would have those kind of eyes.
Hawkeye Mihawk.
Well, Hawkeye isn't part of Chainsaw Man.
Nah, yeah, he
Three.
is. Josh's
Yeah.
face.
But yeah,
Or the
No.
Renegon.
Running
I
on.
just
Could be the
wonder.
Renegon.
I just wonder what's gonna
Basketball
like. Could
stage.
she make a weapon out of this person, like out of a devil?
Theoretically,
Like,
yeah.
is
Yeah.
that possible?
Yeah.
So she could have like a Justice Devil weapon.
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, obviously, very enjoyable chapter for me as well. Yeah, I'd like to jump off of what you said about the dialogue. Chainsaw Man is like such an easy read because it is so well written in terms of dialogue. It is paced out like a movie. I feel like Fujimoto is very influenced by cinema in his work, so that's why
Mhm.
like every chapter feels like you're watching it in motion. You know, he really is good at like these moments, letting moments sit, inserting silences in a really interesting way for sequential art. All around,
Nice.
really fun story here going on. The carnage was fun. Inappropriate nudity, half nudity notwithstanding. The clothes weapon was actually a pretty cool twist. Obviously, I certainly didn't see it coming. I love that it was like super powerful because I didn't see it coming. See that coming either. You know, playing off the rules that were already established with the War Devil and the creation of weapons. It's really cool. So I don't have much else to say about Chainsaw Man. I thought both chapters were really fun. Very easy reads. Felt you know, if it didn't feel like I was reading it, I guess, which is nice. You know, some chapters you feel like you're reading.
Yeah.
And Hunter sometimes. And but Chainsaw Man is the opposite of that. Wonderful series overall. But yeah, with that being said, I suppose we can move on. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Let's go.
Only if Brian allows it.
Brian, do you allow it?
I'll allow it.
All right. Let's move on then. Boruto, Naruto Next Generation. Boruto. This is Boruto chapter 74, Baptism by Fire. Last we left off, Ada has made an alliance with the Konoha village and we learned that they intend to cohabitate both Boruto and Kawaki with Ada in order to keep this chapter. It's a long chapter, obviously monthly series, so let's I'm gonna abbreviate the recap for the most part. Ada arrives, makes a bunch of adults fall in love with her, uncomfy, and you know, Shikamaru's like, "I will guide you over to where Boruto and Kawaki are," and
Time out. Let's just get it out the fucking way here. Okay. Ada is very attracted to Kawaki.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Kawaki is a teenager,
Mm-hmm.
not just a teenager, but a young one, maybe a 14.
Yeah. No, they seem age
Right.
appropriate.
Right. So Ada is probably around that same age as well.
Mhm.
Right.
Mhm.
So, in fact, she is making all of these adults attracted to a young teenager. Can we not escape this shit? Can we not?
No, I was going to
Is
address
it
it for
just
sure because there's a bigger
like
moment
it?
regarding it a little bit later, which I'll get to.
All right.
But we'll get to it because I do want to talk about this. uh, it is crazy. But anyway,
Oh,
so Ada Shikamaru's like, I will take you over to where Kaoki and Boruto are, and Ada's like, nah, fuck you, I'm a fly over there. Peace. I know where they
Peace.
are. I'll just go because of my super all-knowing powers. Amato gets off the train, and Shikamaru's like, all right, bitch, you're gonna tell us everything you know, and you're not gonna fucking hold anything back this time.
right.
And Amato's
Yeah?
like, we'll see about that. I'll still probably hold shit back from you guys.
Yeah, what you gonna do about it? Y'all niggas soft.
Soft.
Especially you, Shikamaru.
Mm-hmm.
Because you got your flowers already,
Yeah.
according to Brian Espinal.
Okay, so they arrive at this really nice house, I guess, on the countryside where Boruto and Kawaki are being dropped off by Konohamaru. They mentioned that this place was actually spoken for, but they had to twist someone's arm into yielding it. I feel like that's gonna come back at some point. I just
It better, or it makes no difference.
yeah.
It was
Otherwise,
just
why mention
empty
it?
dialogue.
Yeah. Otherwise, why mention it? I would imagine that this is gonna be somewhat significant. Somewhat. So yeah, Boruto is just settling in. Kawaki has a problem. You know, they're bickering. Naruto and Sasuke inserts again. You know, just fighting because they're opposites. Sarada and Mitsuki are overwatching the property, and they're just wondering to themselves, like, I don't feel like there's any point in this because she knows her ability makes it so she knows who's watching her. You know, she just knows everything. So I don't know. It doesn't matter. Then Shikadai's team shows up with the kids of Shikacho squad. And you know, they're pulling up because they've been curious. I forget the Choji's daughter's name, but she's there because, you know, Ada is supposed to be a really gorgeous woman, and she likes Kawaki, and that makes her rival with Kawaki because
Come on, say it.
because once again, no female character in Naruto can exist without being intrinsically tied romantically to a male character. It just does not exist.
Nah, well, Sarada doesn't. Sarada's unique.
Sarada is the only one, and even she's just like Boruto.
Ooh, what about Tsunade?
Tsunade was. You can argue that
Nah,
Tsunade
but
was a little influenced.
her situation was different because
Hers
she
is
was
different.
just a watered down version of her bros and grandfather.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
Like, they made a huge point to say, oh, you are nothing compared to the men of your clan.
Yeah,
That
look,
was essentially
we've
it.
said it before.
That's not what he said, but that is.
We
Come on.
look, we've said it before. We're not going to harp on it because we will continue to say it. We'll just flag it at this point. But it is what it is. Ada shows up. Of course, all the kids fall in love with her because of her ability. Makes it so. And Mitsuki himself, who does not have emotions, is finally feeling like, whoa. So this is what it's like to be a normal boy. Whoa. And then we get to the part, the cringe part, I would say, of this chapter. Ada comes in, again, a 14-year-old girl, pulls up. Konohamaru takes a glimpse at her, and he basically falls on his ass because he is so entranced with her. Now, I get it. This is her ability. It didn't have to be. Why is it weird You know, why did it have to be this weird? I get like, why couldn't it be just hypnosis of some sort? Why does it have to be that these grown like this? They turn grown men into
Lolicons. No, it's not a lolicon, but still,
lolicons.
like,
I'm trying to
why
find
does
an
it have to
alternate
be?
word so we don't get like
Couldn't she have just been older? Couldn't the kid?
No, lolicon is the right phrasing.
right. Why a
No,
lolly?
but she's not a young. No, lolicon is for like young girls.
We'll take a liberty with it, I guess, and say, for lack of a better term, lolicon. uh, why? Just why?
Whatever, it's all bad.
Why couldn't it just work on the kids and the adults are just hypnotized? And it has just a greater effect on the other kids. It's just weird. It's just annoying to read, to watch. Just watch these guys like full grown men be like 14-year-old. It's not great. It doesn't feel good to read.
Right.
It's
Like
very,
maybe if it was only the pervy ones that it affected even other like us,
yeah,
like
but even
all, like
then,
children and the super pervy adults because they give in to their childish desires. Or
yeah,
whatever.
it's
It's still inappropriate, but like
it just, as the kids say, it gives me the ick. I don't like it. uh anyway, that's out of the way. I'm sure this is another thing we'll have to continue to flag with this series, but uh anyway,
yeah.
then we get into the real actually good part of the chapter. Daemon shows up. Daemon actually enhances this series quite a bit just by being in it. He pulls up and immediately is on bad timing with the kids. He's like, just immediately starts a fight with Boruto and Kawaki,
It's
and
a fight immediately.
so fast, beats the brakes off of both of them real easy, and yeah, basically knocks both Kawaki and Boruto out for an unspecified amount of time. And Daemon's like, Boruto's like, whoa, what happened? What? That was unnecessary. What the fuck, man? And he's like,
What the fuck just happened?
yeah, he's like, man, I just had to show you what would happen if you tried to step to me. Yeah, Kawaki gets up. He was resting on Ada's lap this whole time. Again, fairly appropriate. There are children. Fair enough. At least it wasn't Konohamaru. So
Right.
yeah, basically, Shikamaru buzzes in and is like, "Hey, have you guys met Ada and Daemon?" And he's like, "Yeah, I mean, we got our ass beat, but it happened. We did it."
Good.
He's like, "Sorry,
we'll be alright.
I meant to introduce you guys formally, but you know, they just flew." And Boruto is like, "That's okay. I think we could get along." And the chapter ends with Shikamaru and Naruto sitting with Amato, and basically is like, "All right, it's time for you to tell me everything, Amato. No more secrets." And
He's like, I'll sing, but you gotta let me blow it down. First.
yeah.
I think this is a really lighthearted approach to like this section of the story, so I'm accepting that. So I'm not putting too much stakes in it. I wonder how it's gonna go with Amato. I don't know what else is left to say other than yeah. So Code is about to get really strong and pull up on this village and kill us all. You know, like what? Whatever. I'm interested in that, but you know, there's this one moment that was really funny to me. What was it? Page 18. It was when Ada pulled up, like when she flew down and all the kids started to get attracted, and he like was like dealing with that feeling for the first time. I'm getting back to that panel right now.
Mitsuki, you mean?
So yeah, Mitsuki, right? So he's like, "What is this emotion? I never felt it before." So she's like, you know, the Sarada's like, you know, "Are you okay?" And he's like,
Nah.
maybe not."
Yeah.
Like that was so real. First time, he's like, "What is?" I don't know what's happening to me.
Oh no.
And it made me think like, yo, when you feel that strong attraction to someone, obviously I'm a grown ass man. I know what that is, right?
Yeah.
But like, as it being new to you, it does feel weird. Like, it doesn't feel good. I feel like I had to go over to this person and talk to them and touch them and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's
Is this hormones no jutsu?
hormones no jutsu. Yes, it indeed is.
But go on, Josh.
Nah, that was about it. I mean, I don't have too many other thoughts for the chapter. I mean, I already said how I felt about the weird underage situation.
Yeah.
I think it was cool to see all the kids. I hope we get to see the kids in more roles, maybe with their parents too. That'd be nice. But I'm not gonna wish too hard
Yeah.
for that. Yeah, I thought I like the little fight that they had. I like that Damon beat them up real quick, just to show them like, yeah. And he
Yeah.
was like, letting him like come at me, fight me, and Kawaki was like, all right, bet. And man, Naruto got dealt real dirty. He got punched in the back of his head.
Yeah.
He's not going to be the same for the rest of the series, probably.
He's got CTE.
You know, he is Otsutsuki though, so maybe he the brain cells regenerate.
Yeah, he'll be okay.
Yeah, hopefully, he won't have Parkinson's by the end of this arc. Yeah, those are my thoughts.
Brian, what did you think about this chapter?
I fucking hate Damon so much.
Really?
Yeah, it's not because like
Damon.
it's not because he beat their ass. I'm just mad that he is currently the strongest character in the series. I just fucking hate his stupid little fucking face. There's nothing interesting about this kid.
No.
Like, I fucking hate him. I literally hate his guts.
He's the
Get him out of my
strongest. That's
face.
the most interesting thing. He's the strongest person in the series.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's sad. Like, it's by a country mile, too. It's fucking
By
stupid.
a country mile.
Like, why is this
Naruto back
boy?
in the day would not have stood a chance.
No.
Probably not,
Apparently.
honestly.
He would have
This
been
guy-
dodging Rasengans, zipping through his shadow clones. Sasuke, he would have caught his Chidori with his bare hand and been like, is that it? Threw
Yeah.
him to the ground, you know. Make them attack each other.
Bro.
It's so cool because he flexes. Like, he's like, all right, I don't even got to use my ability. I just wanted to show you I could do that. Let me beat you up for real. I'm sorry, Brian.
I just don't. I hate that this kid is so strong. It's not cool to me.
Yeah. Were those all your thoughts, Brian?
Yeah, that's all my thoughts.
I don't know.
hate that kid.
I
Oh,
have the
shit.
I feel like I have the exact opposite reaction to Daemon. I really like Daemon. I don't know why. He's just entertaining to me. I do love a character with big defensive back energy. And
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Let's go.
Daemon's got cornerback energy, and I appreciate that. I enjoyed Daemon. I could see why he could be irritating, but I enjoyed Daemon a fair bit. He's at least like an interesting and fun either threat or potential ally. Obviously, I feel like he's just going to really. This whole arc is just going to bring these four closer together, and I feel like they're all going to be friends by the end of this. One thing that I want to note regarding Boruto actually is that I feel like this whole ever since we started covering Boruto, my main complaint has been like a little bit of a strong characterization of Boruto that is lacking, and I feel like we got a little sprinkle of an interesting facet to Boruto in this because he's the guy who's kind of like calm in this. I feel like that's just so the exact opposite of Naruto back in the day where he was like energetic screaming kid, and Boruto now, you know, even in the face of being utterly disrespected by Daemon, he keeps the mission in perspective and he doesn't like hold it super against them. And he's like, you know, there's like a level, I guess, of, for lack of a better term, professionalism to Boruto where he's like, well, I don't like that this kid just whooped my fucking ass, but this is the mission. I'm not going to ruin it. Because Shikamaru, when Shikamaru was like talking to him, he was like, "Did you meet him?" He's like, "Yeah, we got our ass whooped,
Yes.
but I think we could get along. We could figure it out." I think that was like a really cool thing in Boruto. It's like a little subtle thing, but it's something I appreciate in the long run because it goes to give Boruto some kind of depth and variation from Naruto. It could have been very easy to make him as brash as Naruto is, but it's good to see that he has a little bit of a head on his shoulders that Naruto I don't think would have in his youth. So, uh, big respect. I like that very much. I don't have anything else to say. Do you guys have anything to rebut with?
Mm-mm.
All right.
I mean, Boruto, they've made it a point that he is like a lot more intelligent than Naruto at his age. Like made him out to be like a prodigy. Of
No, that's
sorts.
fair.
Sasuke and Naruto, if that makes any sense. Like that's always been like the thing they were going for.
Yeah.
So him being more level-headed and more kind of skill-based has always been a part of Boruto's thing.
Yeah, I respect that. I just like wanted to call it out that when I see it, it's good in general. I think it's a good thing.
I hope he unlocks his Byakugan. I pray.
That would be cool. But anyway, that's all I gotta say about Boruto, and I guess with that we can move on. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then let's go. Undead Unluck.
I got this one.
Ooh, go for it, Josh.
All right, we got Undead Unluck, chapter number 132, Loop, Time to Go, by Yoshifumi Tozuka. We start off with a nice color page of Fuko waving goodbye to something about the way that the characters aren't super detailed in the background and the way like the font is written. I don't know, it just feels really
Sentimental.
sentimental, yeah. Almost like a postcard or something, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like a discreet charm. Anyway, I got emotional over the cover page. Last week, Andy, or should I say Victor, and the rest of the members of the union were trying their best to stop the sun god himself from, destroying the union table. What's the name of that desk called? The
Arc.
The Ark. Thank you. Yeah, sun god from destroying the Ark, and they are successful. They were successful as we start off on this chapter. We see everybody kind of, looking in achievement. Like, yeah, we did it. And as Fuko says, thank you. Now it's time to go. She disappears. Okay. And while this is going on, I was very surprised by this. I don't
Me
know
too. I think
how
I know
you felt,
exactly
right?
what you're
Yeah.
talking about, and I was like, huh?
Like whoa, like oh, that makes so much sense. And it was unknown, unknown.
Unknown. I know.
No, you had to say the
Unknown.
name. I know.
Unknown.
I know. Yeah, it was
I
like
know.
that.
I
It was
thought
like
it
a
was
play on
unknown.
words.
I thought it was unknown.
Huh? It's unknown, but the
No,
name
I know it's
was
unknown, but I thought it was Ano. But I don't know. I don't remember what.
It's Ano on. Like so, the un was
Ano
the
on.
unknown.
Okay.
Unknown. Anyway, so unknown was there the whole time, sitting at the table, just writing a little story, talking about Fuko going off to the next world, and I guess, a little bit about what she went through. She says how thanks to the people who put everything on the line for her, the friends she met along the way, and she, I guess, also, well, I'm saying she. I think it's a he, right? He
I think
recounts.
he.
Yeah, my bad. He starts to, I guess, like recount what's going on and how as the arc rose like from the planet, like you could see like a squad of sun gods, just multiple ones coming like raining down from the sun onto the planet as unknown says how all they like the image described is despair. You know, once you see it, you're left helpless to even oppose it. You know, but he claims that out of everyone left, Victor was going super hard. You know what I'm saying? Like fighting against all the sun guys. He is slitting their throat with his blood, wilding out. I mean, you know, it wasn't doing nothing. It probably was sizzling up as soon as it got to their necks. But he was almost killing them. And you know, he continued to say, if someone as unknown as me is ever allowed to write another story, then it will be. And as Fuko, we see Fuko was teleported to the moon back with Luna, and as she's like witnessing Ragnarok occurring on the planet Earth, Unknown says the story of how you all win. So that's which is important to remember, guys. You know that's the next story. If he gets the chance again, the story he's gonna write is how they win. All right. So as Fuko screams no with tears and despair, as the Earth gets fucking wham
Yeah.
dunked on, like I obliterated. This is Exodia.
Yeah, if you look up the word obliterated in the dictionary, this is the picture that should pop up.
With Fuko screaming no and everything.
Yeah, the whole thing.
They reduced the Earth into a ball of dust. Look at that. It looks like a fucking broken jawbreaker.
Yeah.
The sun just consumes the planet. And you know, of course, Luna, the moon god, as we'll call
Here we
it,
go.
is like, Juice was the same. You know, she acted all brave with her friends before she dipped, and as she watched her friend's demise, he broke down in tears just like you. By the way, as you've been standing there, 100 mil, a cool 100 mil just passed, and the next loop is gonna begin. So Fuko's like, oh well, what about Andy dearest? And she's like, and Luna's like, oh, he's alive. He's out there, in space. As we speak, the freezing cold and lack of oxygen causes him agony all the while. Like,
Damn.
that was unnecessary.
It was.
You didn't need to get that detail.
It was mean.
Right. So, but Luna makes an interesting point saying that when the Earth is fully formed, all negators will be resetted back into them, regardless of how far they are. So interesting. So as nice, a package has been shipped.
Nice.
As Luna's finishing their sentence about the negators being summoned to the planet, they look at Fuko staring them dead in their eyes. This was intense as you see the Earth being formed in the background. This is a pretty cool picture. And Luna says, "That's a look that I haven't seen in her eyes before." And Fuko is just like telling like, "Yo, this is it. Ain't gonna be no more motherfucking loops. Here is we're gonna stop all y'all bullshit. And next time you see me on this moon, I'm gonna smack the shit out of you, and I'm gonna smack that tea out your fucking hand, and dump the rest of it on the ground.
Yeah.
The rest of it in your pot. And spit on you. We're gonna fucking negate you, nigga. P.S. Hold these nuts."
Hell yeah.
And Luna says, "I'm looking forward to it. To these nuts." And
I'm looking
so,
forward to these
as I
nuts.
said, if right, so Luna says, if we meet again, I want you to tell me. I don't know. Tell you what. I want you to tell me once more the story of your. Well, I'm
Yeah.
skipping ahead. So
Yeah.
Bukos gets teleported to the next loop, and we skip ahead to the Showa era, 47, September 11th, 1972. I don't know what Showa 47 means.
I
I'm
think
sorry,
that's like
guys.
the town.
Maybe, but it's in 1972, September 11th. And we see a young I know
one.
one walking through the street, loving his Jump magazine, wondering what the next series is gonna be like. Oh, me too. Like, yo, what's gonna happen next week? I know he's hyped. Maybe there'll be some cool characters. They're I'll draw some. Not me, because I suck at drawing. I wasn't even gonna try. So, but as Anoa's walking, he notices the G pen. That's not what it's called, but the G pen is lit. It's one of the artifacts made
Yeah.
by Luna that what does it do? It makes you invisible.
I think so. Something like that.
No,
It's been a while.
Yeah, it has been a while. I should have looked that up.
Yeah, me
I
too.
completely forgot what it does. But I think it's what activates the negator abilities
Let me see.
of everyone.
Keep it going. I'm
Well,
looking
I
up.
think it's worth looking up. But anyway, so in the previous loops, Unknown finds the pen, and that changes the course of his life and seemingly others.
Okay, I found it. Hold on. I found it. The ability of the pen is, oh man, this fucking ad. Anything drawn with the pen will become a real world object with full functionality, though only one drawing can exist at a time. That's what it does.
Whoa. But I think as soon as he picks up the pen, he's supposed that the
I think
Unknown activates.
I think his negation just activated at the same time as he touched it. So
Yeah.
I don't know if it's correlated to him touching it and then he becomes unknown, but yeah, that's what it is.
And I think he gives you the knowledge of things or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
No, it doesn't say anything like that.
No, I don't know.
Okay, never mind. So, scoop him up and say, "Nope, not gonna let you grab that. But I can tell you a really cool story that's more lit than that manga you're reading." And he asks, "Oh, who are you?" And she's like, "Oh, I'm a fan of your manga." He's like, "Oh, how do you know about that? I only show my moms." You being a fucking creep? Huh?
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 Hmm?
Huh?
Eh?
So, so Fuko says that that the story that she's about to tell is the story of us and you as well. As the chapter ends, to be continued.
What?
Can I get my thoughts first?
Yeah, of
Real
course.
Because I don't have a lot. I'm gonna get them out the way. Just straight up, 'cause I gotta be the first one to say it. I'm selfish, man. I think we have a lot more story to go, and I'm fucking excited. I can't believe it. We made it. We made it to the loop, and we was wondering this whole time, like, is this it? Are they gonna do just like they saved the world, like wrap it up all in one big chapter type shit? This was 24 pages.
No, I think there's gonna be a little bit more, maybe. I would.
Manga doesn't get 24 chapters.
No, sometimes they do.
Bro.
Yeah, they do.
No, they don't.
Yeah, they do. I think you put out as much as you
When's
can.
the last time One Piece had 24 pages?
I mean, I think that's like a choice, you know?
When's the last time Jujutsu Kaisen put out 20?
Well, remember, Undead Unluck had a break recently, and it could be in preparation for this chapter.
When's the last time Black Clover had that many chapters?
Chapters are actually done a little bit in advance, so it could be that he took a week off so he could do the extra pages for this one. It happens.
Maybe.
It's rare. I mean, it's a choice thing. It's how much work you want to. Like, Jump's not going to say no if you say, "Let me do more chapters for this series." or more pages for this chapter. So
Right.
I don't think it's any type of fair boating. I think this is just like a really special chapter that he wanted to give a little extra to.
Okay. Thanks for
This is me
no
settling down,
fair.
keeping hope alive.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Okay. So yeah, I'm just really happy about that. I really like that Fuko really stuck it to Luna. Like, yo, you are up. Fuck you. You think
Yeah.
this shit is a game? Alright.
Luna's
You
like,
ain't see you ain't I'm not Juice.
yeah,
I'm Unluck.
yeah. Luna was literally like,
That's
yes,
what
it's a game.
Yes.
Yes, it's a game.
It sure is. It sure is. And that's how I'm treating you. You're just a fucking game to me. Ha 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 ha.
Ha ha ha.
LOL. Have fun.
Rufflecopter.
Yeah, and, right. And Fuko, I like that. She was like, say less. Say less. Say less. You know how I feel.
Bet. All right. Were those all your thoughts?
Basically, I may have some rebuttals to your thoughts.
Yeah. I also don't have many myself. This was honestly my like runner up, if it was like in terms of really good chapters of the week. This is also good thing I remembered. This is the really good chapter of the week for the audience, actually.
Oh yes.
Yeah. So yeah, this is
Let's
the
go.
audience voted really good chapter of the week.
Certified RGC. Certified RGC. Certified RGC.
Well deserved, you guys. Undead Unluck won. If you guys want to vote for your favorite chapter, follow us on Twitter and check us out on Sundays. We usually put up the poll when the official release of the chapter on Viz's website comes out. So yeah, cast your vote. But this was the audience voted for the week. Well deserved. This was a really good chapter, man. Undead Unluck, when it comes through, it's pretty hot fire, I would say.
I would say so as well.
Yeah, this just had everything good about Undead Unluck. There is just like a shonen spirit that I thought would die with Black Clover, but still lives within Undead Unluck that
Yeah.
I appreciate. You know, there's just like this general willpower and grit and determination thing that lives within Undead Unluck, and I appreciate it. There's a lot of emotion here. I love how Andy went out badass as usual, or Victor.
Yeah.
That
Victor.
yeah, there's a lot of like really big panels and really big splash pages that are like fantastic overall, just like some of his best work artistically. I think it is like by design that Fuko has just been crying and weeping this whole time so that we can feel like the impact of her finally feeling resolve, and really just changing her character for the not overall where she's like completely different, but you know, becoming a more assured and confident person, and giving herself a purpose, because back in the day she would never have trusted herself to do something like this. You know, she would see
Yeah.
herself as a curse because so many people have gotten hurt as a result of her ability, and to see her now taking on the role as like, I'm the captain now. It's great. It's great to see. And I'm very excited to see where Undead Unluck goes, because I have no fucking idea. Part of this loop is that I've never seen something like this done before narratively, where you literally hit the reset button and it could either go, you know, as we fear, you know, a quick getting the band back together and facing off against the bad guy, or it can be a little more a prolonged story where we get a deeper look into other supporting characters past, as we have been in the arc so far. You know, I'm very interested to see where it goes. Undead Unluck is both one of a kind and also very familiar in its tone and its storytelling. So very excited
Yeah.
to see where it goes. Any rebuttals?
Yeah, maybe not rebuttal specifically, but I think there's so many ways that he could go about this with this like reset. I mean, this is another opportunity for him for the author to like you say, flesh out some characters. I mean, maybe it almost feels like a go back in time, like if you could change something, you know what I mean? I don't know, something about that is so interesting to me because like that's what they could do. They could go back to when all the negations are about to occur and fix them. You know what I'm saying? Because Fuko cares about all of these people, and she would go out her way. You know, and maybe she finds a way to manipulate her power in such a way. I've noticed that on her uniform it says "Good luck."
Mm-hmm. Her hat always said "Good
Maybe
luck." It was always a patch on her hat, but now it's on her shirt. It's okay. I mean, it doesn't make your point any less. I think you're right. It is a definitive change in her character design. She does have a shirt that says "Good luck."
I thought maybe it was at the very. I did just get wrecked.
Yeah, I didn't mean. Sorry, I didn't mean to wreck you.
It'd be like that sometimes.
All right.
I
Well,
wreck Horikoshi every week.
hey,
So.
you know what goes around comes around, I guess. But I guess we could move on, yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Damn. All right.
That was Undead Unluck. We did promise questions. We'll only do 2.
We did promise questions.
We'll do 2, and we are backlogged on questions, so we should probably get to some.
Yes, sir.
These questions are from our most faithful listener, our stalwart Mike B, Sketchy Mike, El Sketcherino. Our first question is: would you guys ever consider rereading an old manga like Rurouni Kenshin or Yu Yu Hakusho for the pod? Yu Yu Hakusho is not in the digital vault, so in order to read it, we'd either have to hunt down scanlations or buy volumes until the app gets its shit together and just adds Yu Yu Hakusho. Rurouni Kenshin, not so much because there's a little bit of a cheese pizza problem with the creator of Rurouni Kenshin, if you know what I'm saying. So I can't, as much as
there's some issues with creative properties.
No. It's a guy, the creator
creative properties.
CP. Yes, yeah. Creative properties, so to speak. So, you know, I can't in good conscience, as much as Rurouni Kenshin was such a formative story in my youth, I can't go on supporting it or promoting it any further because it is Nobuhiro Watsuki is got some cheese pizza problems. So we can't
until that works itself out in some other way for the time being.
It's already like said and done. These things were brought against him like a couple years ago.
I don't know the details of this at all,
yeah,
as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we don't have to discuss it here.
He's out.
But I will take the word for it.
He's out because, you know, whatever. That's just a whole can of worms. And but Yu Yu Hakusho, sure. I was thinking
Yu Yu Hakusho. I want to. I need to.
I would love to.
As a matter of fact,
last time I read Yu Yu Hakusho was when I was like in high school. I would love to revisit it in manga form. Yeah. I've watched a couple episodes recently of the anime version.
Or Zatch Bell.
But yeah,
that's not that old.
The thing is, like, obviously, we're already at like 2+ hours. We cover upwards of like 8 or 9 series on this show. To add another one would probably be a lot of work at this point. But, you know, it was something I was consider for if we ever get to a point where we can get a Patreon going and we're doing bonus content for a Patreon. I would love to do that, like do like deep dives into old series and all that stuff. Because we have been reading manga for a long time and we've read a lot of series in our time. And it'd be good to give them a little shine. But to answer your question, maybe someday is the call here. Do you have any thoughts on that, Josh? Or
I mean, I want to read Yu Yu Hakusho on my leisure, very unfortunate about Rurouni Kenshin because I remember watching it on Tsunami,
Mhm.
and I had always in my mind I always thought that was one of the series I wanted to go back and read out of just because it was
It was one of my favorites when I
you
was
know
when I
one of
was
the
young.
it was a stalwart, but it is what it is, and
Yeah.
I think Chris speaks. I'm confident when I say Chris speaks for us all.
Yeah.
A Blue Jump City with that stance.
Yeah, I mean, he's drawing today. He has like a new Rurouni Kenshin series going still, and American Shonen Jump has discontinued it. They don't publish it here. So as a result of the charges brought against him, so it'd be that way. Okay, so next.
Yu Yu Hakusho's lit. Spirit Gun.
Oh, Yu Yu Hakusho.
Nah, I like the shot. The shotgun.
Yeah.
That shit was fire. Too bad it. Anyway.
Second question: what has been your favorite manga development in the last 2 years?
Please go first, Chris.
Gear 5. That's one of them. I guess if I'm Gear 5 was definitely one of them. I think that brought a lot of interest to One Piece. I think it's an interesting concept. It's so out there that like I don't think anybody would have seen that that's where the ultimate evolution of Luffy's ability would be. So kudos to Oda for throwing us for a loop 25 years into a series. Endeavor's story. I'm not sure it's completely concluded, but I really liked the chapter that dealt with his mental state and his purpose going forward. I thought that was a great point for My Hero Academia. Let's see, Jujutsu Kaisen, the entire culling game, top to bottom.
Oh man, you're taking a lot right now. You're taking a lot. Let me hold on. Why don't you pause and you can give some more. Let me give a couple. I want to talk. I want to mention something about Jujutsu Kaisen. Oh, that was my chair. So I really like the development of as far as Jujutsu Kaisen goes, a lot of the characters, like the supporting cast, like the focus on Okosu in particular. I mean, seeing the movie was so dope.
Yeah.
But that's got to count towards the story because we got a little story of it in the manga anyway, so it's the same shit. But even with the upperclassmen and just like how Jujutsu has been expanded and what it's become like to this point. Jujutsu Kaisen has really turned into a powerhouse over the past couple of years in general. Did you want to say more about Jujutsu Kaisen in particular?
No, I think you got it. I mean,
yeah, that was one thing I knew for sure.
Yeah.
I could say also, like with One Piece, seeing Sanji and Zoro develop, like in that fight, it was cool to see them like level up and to see them really focus on hockey in general. I thought that was like really cool. Like they really like Oda, really ironed out exactly what Conqueror's hockey was because we've seen, pieces of it, of course, like with Shanks. You know what I mean? Like that, like we was always like, oh, like he's the guy when it comes to that. And Rayleigh had a little bit, and we've seen a bit of it with Luffy, but it's just cool that not only is it this passive ability, but like something that can be weaponized through Rio. Like that's really cool.
Yeah. All right. Well. I don't think he's here anymore.
Okay.
I think Brian tapped out.
He was back into this singularity.
Yeah. Brian's a little under the weather today, so if you couldn't hear it in his voice, but in any case, all right, that's it for the questions this week. We are nearing 2.5 hours, so let's wrap up. This has been our show. Thank you guys for listening. As per usual, you can find me at the Chris Espinal on Twitter and Instagram, Josh at JD Cole on Instagram, at New Jump City Josh on Twitter, Brian at b.esp on Twitter and Instagram. Follow his Twitch stream at twitch.tv/itspunchline. Email the show itself at newjumpcitypod@gmail.com with any questions, suggestions, anything you guys want us to talk about. Do the thing, comment on the video you're watching, whether it's the full version of the podcast or the little highlight breakouts that we make for you guys every week. Subscribe while you're at it. Give us stuff. If you prefer audio podcasts, the whole catalog is on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. So get on it. And yeah, that's it for us. Thank you guys for listening this long. If you have next week, Hunter x Hunter, very excited. But till then, stay safe, New Jump citizens.
Peace out, guys.